And I know we're alive. Hello, hello.
Yay!
Double check here. I know it's still loading, but hello, everyone. So excited to be here today.
Hello.
Okay, so too many screens up at one time, but super excited to be chatting with you guys today. Jerisha Hawk here. I'm an income strategist, and I help online business owners really sell their services consistently. And I am so pumped to have a dear friend, Kelly Ruda, here with us today. So Kelly has been somebody who has transformed my life internally and externally, personally and in my business professionally. It just really has helped myself and numerous of my clients work through just mindset hurdles when it comes to money and just living limitlessly and helping us really grow beyond our existing where we're currently at in life and in business. So I'm just so excited to bring her on live to chat and see with you guys. I don't know, Kelly, if you want to share more about just who you are and what you do, that'd be great. Just so the audience knows all the magic of what we have.
Absolutely. You know what though? It's way more fun for me to sit here and listen to you say nice things. That was a serious introduction. I don't know if I can live up to all that goodness, but thank you. So yeah, just a quick couple things about me. I was a psychotherapist for 2 decades, and it was beautiful, joyful work until it wasn't. And then I realized I was being called to expand and called forward and called kind of up and out to do other things and serve more people and in a different way. And so I transitioned from psychotherapy into my really transformational mindset coaching. I felt a really strong calling to work primarily with women. And I really believe that women in business are changing the entire world as we know it right now. Mm-hmm. Everything from changing just our own personal experience to, our families, our communities, and the world at large, because when we heal ourselves, we can go forth and help other people heal. And when we create abundance, we not only get to enjoy it, we get to share it, which is amazing. So that's just a little tidbit about me and what I do. That's it in a nutshell.
Oh, well, if you guys don't follow Kelly, you definitely need to be. But today we want to talk about a topic that I know a lot of us get troubled with. Yeah. I know I personally have been in this boat, and I know tons of my clients have.
And me too. I was there, girl. I was there.
Kelly as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to really bring in an expert to have a healthy conversation around it. Really, when you're up leveling in your life and up leveling in your business, and you make a decision, that doubt that we start to feel after we've made that initial decision to either hire a new coach or join a program, enroll into something new that we know that we need to grow and develop. Right after you make that decision, normally it's oh shit, what did I just do?
Yes.
And the freak out occurs.
Oh yeah.
For me, I know I've had that every time I've up leveled in my business, but can you just talk about, is that normal? Should we be expecting that to happen?
I can talk about this all day long. But yeah, so here's what I want you to understand. That freak out, that oh shit moment, the buyer's remorse or the self-doubt that sets in, or the, you go from being so excited to going, oh my God, what did I do? And I'm not going to be able to pay my rent, or, all the things that happen, completely and totally normal. And they're not only normal, they're actually a good sign. And here's why. I know.
Please tell us, Kelly. That's a good thing.
That's kind of crazy and counterintuitive, but it's really a good sign. And here's why. If you did the work to get clear about making the decision to invest in yourself, in your business, in growing it, in scaling it, in starting it, for Pete's sake, just getting it off the ground, and you felt really good, and you chose a coach, a consultant, a program, whatever, you felt good and excited about it. And then when you hit the pay button and the money came out of the account, and then all of a sudden you felt like you were going to vomit, or you were going to just kind of come undone, it's because your ego was triggered, and triggering the ego is a good thing that just doesn't feel good. So you get triggered. So here's a little just 101 about the ego. Look, I have a degree in psychology. I could talk about this. I could go get 5 more degrees because I find it so fascinating. The human mind is just so fascinating. But for the sake of teaching people, I like to teach things in a way that it's useful. In other words, not just interesting, not just filling up your brain with more, knowledge, but it's useful. So what's useful to understand about the ego is that your ego has one job. It is to maintain the status quo. In other words, we just want to keep the comfort zone party going on all hours of the night. We don't want to change anything. We don't want you to expand, to stretch, to evolve, to grow. Why? Because it perceives that stretch as a threat. So this is why when you start off really excited and then you go, oh my God, what did I do? That's why it's a good thing, because it's the sort of the evidence that you are stretching outside of your comfort zone. If you weren't, your ego wouldn't get triggered. It'd be all happy, keeping you just in a nice, neat little box, right? But here's the thing. Ego and whatever you want to call it, spirit, soul, inner being, higher self, God, divine, I don't care what you call it. Ego and the divine will always be at odds. Why? Because the divine is always going to call you forward to expand. That's how the divine gets to experience itself via us. I really do believe we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we humans just decided to have that experience inside business. That's how we're rolling with it, right? So you're going to be called forward all the time to expand, and your ego wants none of it. So when you go to up level and you make this investment or a decision to try something new or to do something you've never done before to grow yourself or your business, your ego is going to go, no, I put the brakes on, we thought that was a good idea. That's not a good idea. So start to realize and perceive you're being triggered as really good evidence of your expansion. If you can start to look at the trigger that way, you give yourself permission to lean into the new experience, to lean into being coached or taught or mentored or whatever it is, and have some playful curiosity. In other words, why are you so triggered about something like that? Your ego is going to try to tell you it's because of the money. That's always what it is. It's always the money, what it cost, or the time. I don't have time to do that. That's too much of a time investment. Those are the two biggies. That's never the real reason, by the way, because if you can't pay your rent, there's no way you should have been on a sales call or making that purchase to begin with. Do you know what I mean? So we have to get to the truth of what's going on. And the truth is the ego doesn't want you to stretch. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And if you guys are catching this live or watching this in the replay, like definitely let us know, have you ever felt that doubt after making a decision? And if this is resonating for you guys as well. But my other question for you was, when people are, and myself included, like after we make that initial decision and maybe this is our first time flirting with our ego or like consciously engaging with our ego.
That's it. Consciously.
How do we determine whether or not like the ego is trying to protect us and we actually like need to listen to what it's telling us? Or like, how do we kind of decipher whether or not like what that doubt really is?
Killer question.
Okay.
Such a good question. Understand this. Your ego thinks it needs to protect you, but the things the ego tells you are never going to provide you protection. It will undermine you. It will sabotage you. It will overwhelm you. It will have you shrink and play small. So there's lots of fear. We're only born with a couple of fears: loud noises and heights, falls. That's pretty much it. Everything else is learned. So when fear starts to come up, what you need to learn how to do is exercise discernment. Is my fear being triggered by my ego, or is my intuition, my own personal guidance system, trying to steer me? More often than not, your ego is going to trigger fear. And some fear can be very, very healthy. In other words, the fear of the unknown. I'm stretching myself and I'm not sure what's going to happen in the process. It's totally cool to be afraid of that. But there's a difference between feeling the fear and choosing courage in the face of fear, or listening to the ego messages that come up when you're afraid. In other words, you're going to fail. You're going to make an idiot out of yourself. You're going to go broke. You're going to, be judged. You're going to be rejected. You're going to look like a fool, whatever. All of that will never come from your inner being. Ever, 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 ever. That always comes from ego. And so this is a practice that you have to kind of develop over time of discernment. And so intuition is one of the things that it makes my business decisions, period, because my intuition never, ever has led me down the wrong path. Have I had to take some paths that were maybe a little more challenging than I would have cared for? Yes, because that's the way I needed to learn the lesson. The only time I've made really, really bad decisions was when I heard my intuition and I chose not to listen. I chose to listen to the ego over the intuition. That's when I screw up royally.
So we have some people commenting. Latasha said that stretch is so uncomfortable. I noticed that I'm a fan of routine.
Yeah.
We've talked about just like how we are like habitual creatures by nature. Like our brain is designed to trying to find habit.
Yes.
Or to build a routine.
Yes.
Like, what do you, I think, advise to those of us who we really are trying to step outside of our norm and grow and stretch? Like, how do we start to break that routine? We know that that's exactly what we need to get to where we want to go.
Yeah, it's via self-awareness. So here's the thing, and what was her name, Latasha? Am I speaking?
Latasha.
Okay, awesome comment. So understand that it's a two-sided coin, like most things. So our actual brain structures crave the creation of habit. Why? Because habit makes you energy efficient. So when we have things that we habituate, we don't need to think about them. We don't need to do a lot of processing. They end up going into the subconscious mind, kind of like, think about it like, have you ever driven to, your mom's house? And, after 30 minutes, you go, how did I get here? I don't even remember the drive. What just happened? That's because you habituated that drive and it's in your subconscious mind. So you didn't even have to think about making a left or making a right. Okay. So conscious habit can serve us very well. Here's the thing. You again have to practice discernment. So you have to consistently take the time and use your focus and ask yourself, does this habit, system, structure, routine serve me well? Does this serve me well? Because you get very comfortable with habit. That's the beautiful thing. The problem is we, number one, sometimes create habits that didn't serve us from the get-go at all. Hello, smoking, drinking, like doing all kinds of things habitually. And the second scenario is you can create a habit that serves you really well for where you're at right now, but it's not going to serve where you're going. So you have to consistently reevaluate your systems and structures and habits and routines and rituals and take the time to say, does this serve the person I'm becoming, the business I'm creating, not just where I'm at today, but where I'm going? If you don't take the time to do that, you will just continue to play out the same thing over and over and over, get the same results, or your results will begin to dwindle, which is actually a gift because it's a kick in the ass. It says to you like, girl, what are you doing? It's not working for you anymore, which is great because it makes you more conscious. So yes, habit is a beautiful, wonderful thing. Create lots of them. Just be discerning about whether it's truly serving your purpose, your mission, your goals, your objectives, that kind of stuff.
She said that makes so much sense.
Good.
And then Ashley had made the comment of, I guess that's why facing some of these fears stimulates such growth. And I know we kind of already discussed on that one. But I guess kind of to like wrap us up here, when it comes to, I don't know, I think you gave a lot of really good tips on how to actually start acting with more discernment, how to differentiate your ego from your intuition. Is there anything else that you think is really important for us to know or to anticipate? Like while we're in the process of making a decision or right after we make that decision that maybe I don't even know right now to ask that, that I'm not aware of.
And you're pretty damn self-aware. Holy cow. Yeah. Just a couple of things. And look, I say this all the time. I don't do rocket science. I have a friend who's a molecular geneticist. I leave that stuff to him. I don't teach that stuff. The things I teach are simple. They're just not always easy to implement and to embody and to command, right? The concepts, the principles are very simple, but doing them, I wouldn't have a job if everybody could do them with ease. That's just the truth of it, right? So a couple things. Number one, do not buy into marketing around fearlessness. Please, for the love of God, stop believing that fearlessness is something you have to be all the time.
Praise Kelly on this one, y'all. Thank you. Thank you.
It makes me nuts. It really does. Because the truth is, you will most likely have moments that you capture where you say, gosh, I felt fearless on that stage or on that call or making that pitch or whatever it was, right? And that's wonderful, and embrace it and have a blast with it. But do not make a state of consistent fearlessness a goal. It will not serve you. It will backfire, and it will absolutely decimate your confidence.
Yeah.
The better goal in terms of how it serves you well so you can serve others well is to be very aware of your triggers and what your fears are, and really exercise the muscle of choosing courage. That is going to serve you so much better than trying to be fearless. I hear so many women, and they'll say to me, oh, you're fearless. I want to be like that. I'm like, no. That's no. I'm scared all the time.
Yes.
All the time. Why? Because I know well enough to consistently stretch myself out of my own comfort zone. So I'm scared a whole lot. I just work on the muscle of courage. So that's one thing. The second thing is, when you go to make an investment in whatever, mastermind, coaching group, consultant, whatever it is, I want you to anticipate the pushback from your ego. It's going to come. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with you. Don't judge it. Don't beat on yourself. Don't beat on the ego. There's no trying to kill the ego. You don't need to do any of that nonsense. If you can respond to yourself with a little bit of compassion, it's going to go a long way. And here's why. Your ego, especially when you were a kid, or if you have been exposed to any kind of trauma, your ego has served you very, very well. It helped you survive. It helped you develop as a child and separate from your primary caregivers and have a sense of self. And if you were, experienced trauma or abuse, which I mean, really at this point, who almost hasn't, your ego helped you in that situation. So we don't want to bash the ego. We just want to know that in these situations where we're in a healthy way, looking to grow and expand and stretch, the ego is going to push back. And your job is just to be able to say, oh, that's that part of me that is a child or happened in a moment or a series of moments to be victimized. That's that part trying to keep me really, really safe. And I'm good. I'm safe. I'm all right. Which is why it's so important, especially for women, to be constantly surrounding ourselves with safe, powerhouse other women so that we rise together in a way that allows us to shut that inner critic down and just quiet it and have immense compassion for ourselves so that we can continue to grow and expand consistently, not just, once in a while when I'm feeling super brave, but that it's a consistent part of your personal and your business growth. So I hope that's helpful. That's
so helpful. Everybody's like throwing up hearts and thumbs up in the Facebook Live right now and just saying
good
courage. I love that. Ashley said I'm a new mindset coach, and I thank you for saying that in terms of this fearlessness concept.
Yeah, it's full on bullshit. I'll say it anytime, anywhere. Ariana Huffington wrote about it, and I was like, no, not you. Don't tell people that I love you. Don't tell them that. But yeah, no, you do not need to be fearless, my friend. Don't even shoot for it. When it happens, you'll embrace it and enjoy it. Shoot to be courageous.
Yeah. That's one thing you taught me. And I started naming my emotions. Like I call it freak out Franny or fearful Franny. And like I legit learned this from you after one of our calls. It was like, I would be able, because you taught me like, how do you differentiate and like recognize the fear, respect that it's there, but don't let that be the thing driving your vehicle. Like choose boldness, choose courage, like choose to live limitless in that direction. I mean, she can still be in the car.
Oh, sure. She just can't drive.
She just
license to drive is revoked.
Yeah.
Sit in the back and put her seatbelt on and she can come for the ride. And look, we have things to learn when our ego, our fears, our guilt, our shame, our anger, when it rises, it's a teacher. It's showing up as a teacher if you allow it to teach you. But that does not mean it gets to take over the whole ride. Mm-hmm. That's a very, very different relationship with ego and emotion and, and your mind, which is the most beautiful tool. But please remember, the voice of your ego, of your inner critic, of that imposter syndrome, that is not you. That's the voice of ego. That is not you. Your job is to move the ego out of the way so you can develop a deeper and deeper relationship with your true self. Because when you build a business or a movement or a platform from that place, it is immensely, immensely powerful.
Oh, Kelly, like I freaking love talking to you.
Yeah, I love talking to you too.
But if you guys have not like followed Kelly, I'll be making sure to put her Facebook page and her Facebook name in the title of this description so you guys can go find her and listen to her content and just dive into all of her juicy goodness. Is there like anything that you have coming up right now that people need to be like know about or just be more aware of?
Yeah.
Like, I know your Facebook group is like on and popping, so I'll make sure to guide them over there too.
Yeah, it's called The Limitless Entrepreneur. So hop in there because I announce everything that I'm offering from, my free challenges all the way up to, private one-on-one inside that group. But I do have something that's running right now that won't cost you a dime. It's actually a training on how to overcome the imposter syndrome, who the hell do you think you are to go out and do these big things in the world? And it's on just the homepage of my brand new website, kellyruda.com. So you can just head over there and check out the free training. I actually get Facebook private messages about this training all the time because so many people struggle with feeling like a fraud or an imposter when they go to put themselves out there and say, no, I'm actually an expert and I can really actually help you. You get triggered. So that's why I designed that training. And I just invite you to lean into it and pull the nuggets out of it and apply it to your life and your business.
Oh, thank you so much, Kelly. You are just like the best. Like I could just talk about you all day.
Oh, girl, I love you right back. You know it. But thank you so much for the kind words and the space to come on and talk about this stuff. I mean, I really, truly could talk about this all day long because there are so many brilliant women looking to put their businesses and their genius out into the world. And strategy is the bomb. And there's so many amazing things we can do, and especially in the online world now, but we got to bring ourselves with us. You know what I mean? And so doing this work and combining it with brilliant business strategy, oh my God, just lights me up. So thank you.
Likewise. So guys, I'll make sure to get all of her details available for you guys to check her out and learn more about her. Just thank you guys for tuning in today just to really talk about this and kind of get really like raw and deep in the emotions to work through this. If you guys have any other questions, comments, or concerns, definitely pop them in the comments below. And we'll see you guys at a later time here on Facebook. Bye, everybody.
Bye.